most important elections for a lot of reasons. Not just that, but for a lot of reasons. But that's so obvious, because for whatever reason, they say this could be the presidency, this next 4 years, where you'll pick more Supreme Court justices than anybody has ever had the opportunity to do. And believe me, I'll make you very proud of those justices. So we had an incident a few days ago with the 400 million all cash. 400 million. Anybody know what that looks like? That's a lot of cash. That's a lot of cash. And honestly, it's so sad. Think of it. Going to Iran, a terrorist state. Now, I happen to think they have plenty of money. We've given them 150 billion, so the 400 million is just, I happen to think it goes into their accounts in Switzerland personally. Now, a lot of people say, don't know it's used for terror, and they use it for terror, because it's the #1 terror funder, not even close. But I also think that when you have 400 million in cash, different denominations, you see the size of this? They did, I guess, release the pictures after all. They released pictures. And interesting, I'll tell you, I sort of think it goes into bank accounts, right? I sort of think they take it, they probably use some for this, some for that. You can do a lot of things. And Obama said that he did it because we don't have a working account with Iran. Do you believe it? How long does it take to set up an account? Right? You don't have a working account, you set up an account, right, Laura? You set up an account, it takes about 2 weeks. Oh, look, what's going on in this country, folks, what's going on in this country is insane. And we have people running our country that don't know what they're doing. They're grossly incompetent. And it's time. I mean, we have to make change, real change. Not Obama change. Whether it's Sergeant Bergdahl, where we get Bergdahl, who was a traitor, and they get 5 of the greatest killers that they've wanted for 8 years. We get Bergdahl. I call it the 5-for-1 trade. Or the Iran deal, where we get nothing. We get nothing. They get, ultimately, they have the path. Beautiful path. They'll get way, way over than that. They'll get nuclear weapons. So if you get Trump, you can see a lot of changes to that deal. You're going to see some big changes. And what really, I saw where President Obama said that the $400 million in cash had nothing to do with the release of the hostages. It really doesn't work, does it? It doesn't. Remember Obamacare? You're going to keep your doctor, you're going to keep your plan over and over again. You're going to keep your doctor. It was a lie. And in fact, if he didn't make the lie, he would have never gotten approved, because most Democrats, many of the Democrats didn't want to do it. It was only that got them to sign it and to approve it. And it was a lie. And the $400 million, and from what the rumor is, and from what the reports are, the hostages couldn't leave the airport until this other plane arrived. They don't know why, but I think we all have a pretty good reason why. It's all a big lie. It's all a big lie. And it's so sad to see, and let me tell you, Hillary Clinton is going to be 4 more years of Obama, but maybe worse. Maybe worse. It's going to be 4 more years. 4 more years of ISIS. 4 more years of high taxes. Yesterday I had a big event, really. It turned out to be a very big event in Detroit. And we got wonderful reviews and a lot of good comments, but the thing I'm doing, I'm cutting taxes bigly, especially for the middle class and especially for businesses. Because businesses are dying, and that means small businesses, businesses are leaving our country like they've never left before. They're going all over. They're going to Mexico, that I can tell you. Mexico is like the eighth wonder of the world. You know, I've been telling the story, a friend of mine, good friend of mine, good guy. He builds plants. He builds plants for cars, for computers, you know, where they make it, massive plants. And I said to him, how are you doing? And he's worked in North Carolina, by the way. I said to him, how are you doing? He said, phenomenal. It's like, I think, the biggest in the world at this. That's what he does. Great guy. I said, how's it all going? He said, you got to see Mexico, too. It's the eighth wonder of the world. What we're building there is like never has been built. We've never seen anything like it. And I said, how are we doing in the United States? I'm more interested in that, okay? If it's okay, I guess, right? Well, you know, America first, folks, America first. We get a little tired of these deals where they actually put, and you know why? Because of lobbyists and special interests and people representing and people wanting it to happen. It's just not that they want other countries to benefit over us. There are reasons for it. And you know, when I raise money, and I'm putting up a lot of money for my own campaign, I'm funding me. And I'm raising money for the Republican Party. And we're getting a lot of money from the small donors. Remember 2 months ago, I hadn't started. I wanted to make sure I get the nomination before I start, right? Let me get the nomination, please. And then I took a lot of heat from the press, the world's most dishonest people. Those cameras will not move and show how many people are in this auditorium. Those cameras are not going to move unless we have a protester. Is there a protester up there in the corner? If we had a protest, that's the only time they move, because they're showing something that in their mind is a bad thing. So then they move. But I like that. I've always liked my protesters because the cameras show these massive crowds and people say, wow, was that a big crowd? And, you know, I go home to my wife. I say, how's it going? She goes, darling, your speech was very good. Were there many people there? I said, about 7,000. That's a small group. It's only confined, I mean, you had to see outside. I felt so bad. I came up, thank you, and I love you too. Who said it? Thank you. But I came up with Rudy from New York, and we're driving up, and we're going block after block after block, the line. And I said, are those people going to be able to get in? They said, the place is already full. And Rudy just said, man, I've never seen anything like that. Maybe a couple of days before an election. But this is what's happening. Because of the fact we have a movement going, folks. Because people are so tired. And by the way, voter ID. Watch this. Watch with voter ID. Why aren't we having voter ID? In other words, I want to vote, here's my identification, I want to vote, as opposed to somebody coming up and voting 15 times for Hillary. And I will not tell you to vote 15 times. I will not tell you to do that. Okay? You won't vote 15. But people will. They'll vote many times. And how that could have happened is unbelievable. And the governor just told me that they're going before the United States Supreme Court, Justice Roberts, and maybe they can get a stay. Let's see what happens, okay? Let's see what happens. That's a very important. But I wrote a few things down, and to me, so important. Yes, darling, thank you. Unstable Hillary lacks the judgment. Now, Bernie Sanders said she lacks judgment, right? And nobody said anything about it, no problem. He said, you lack judgment. And during one of the debates, nobody said it. It was fun. When I say it, they say, that's terrible the way you talk.